welcome to another vlog. Today is a very exciting day because Q and I are going to go look at some apartments. We might be moving to a new apartment in a few months. I am super excited to look at some new apartments. They are a little bit bigger than the apartment we're in right now, so hopefully we like one of them. I'm gonna try to show you the apartments in this vlog and let us know if you like one of the apartments, or maybe vote on what apartment you think we choose, because I think we're gonna pick one of these three. I don't know though. We might fall in love with one, or we might have to wait and look at some more. I have no idea what's gonna happen today. I'm just really excited to go look at some new apartments. So yeah, let's get going. All right, guys, you have now seen all of the apartments. I have no idea which apartment we should choose, so you have to help me out. But first, I want to know what apartment was your favorite. So pause the video here and then comment down below which apartment you liked the most. The first apartment was 2 bedrooms. It was beautiful inside. I really loved that there were 2 big windows in that apartment. There was a big window across from the kitchen, and then there was a big window in the living room. So those 2 big windows let in a lot of sunlight. So the apartment was really bright and it felt open and airy. I also liked where the kitchen was located in that apartment. I liked that the kitchen was right across from a giant window. So there was a lot of light coming into the kitchen. I did not like that it was only 2 bedrooms though, because that means that the kids are going to have to share a room, and we will probably be living in this apartment for a very long time. So that means that the kids would have to share that room for a very long time. Even when they're in high school, they would probably still be sharing a room. I used to share a room with my younger brother, and I know that I really liked it when I was little, but I definitely would not have wanted to share a room when I got a little older. I also really liked the outside balcony area. I don't really know what that's called. Is it a veranda, a terrace, a balcony? I'll just call it a balcony. With the 2-bedroom apartment, there were no buildings across from the balcony, so it felt more private. It also felt more open. In the 3-bedroom, there was a building right next to that balcony. So people would always be able to look down onto our balcony. But in the 2-bedroom, there was no building next to us. So it did feel a little bit more private. It also felt more open, if that makes any sense. So I might have to just deal with the fact that there's only 2 bedrooms in order to have a brighter apartment and in order to have a balcony that is more private. But then the 3-bedroom was also amazing. Obviously the 3-bedroom has 3 bedrooms. So that means each kid can have their own bedroom. There was also a small little room next to the kitchen. That was pretty cool. We could use that as a pantry or a little office, or we could use it for more storage. There were also a lot of cupboards in the living room that you could use for storage. There were like 12 cupboards there. And then there was also a balcony for that apartment too. So the negatives for the 2-bedroom apartment are that there's only 2 bedrooms and it felt a little bit smaller, even though the living room was pretty large. And then the 2-bedroom didn't have any storage, but the 3-bedroom had lots of storage and did feel pretty big. The negatives would be that the 2 rooms for the kids felt pretty small, and the balcony was right next to another building. Another negative is that there was only 1 big window in the living room, so there wasn't as much light coming into that apartment because the 2-bedroom had 2 large windows, but the 3-bedroom only had 1. And then the last apartment we looked at was 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. It was pretty cool that it had 2 bathrooms. That was a surprise. I didn't know it would have 2 bathrooms. It also came with the AC already installed in the ceiling. That would save us a little bit of money because we wouldn't have to bring our standing AC with us to that apartment. Because if we bring our standing AC, we have to pay someone to move it and to install it in the apartment. It was also nice that the kitchen had a little window in it. Those little windows can help a lot with mold. But I will say that that was my least favorite apartment. It just felt small. I don't really know how to explain it. I think it was actually a similar size to the other apartments we looked at, but it just felt smaller. It also was a lot older than the other apartment, and you could feel that it was older. A lot of things looked older in it. And there was also no balcony, and there were no good views from the windows because that apartment was surrounded by older buildings. So when you look out the windows, that's all you can see is older buildings. So I don't think I would pick that third apartment. But if you really liked that third apartment, let me know. Why did you like it? Maybe I'm missing something. I think right now I'm trying to decide between the first apartment or the second apartment. So I'm trying to decide between the 2-bedroom or the 3-bedroom. And I'm having a really hard time doing that. Every time I think I've decided which one I like more, I start to think about the other one again. So I will pick the 3-bedroom because I love that it has 3 bedrooms. And I feel like we need 3 bedrooms so that each kid can have their own room. But then I start to think about the 2-bedroom apartment. And I start to think about how much sunlight was coming in those windows. And I start to think about how much I loved where that kitchen was. And I do love that there was no building right next to that balcony. But then I wonder if somebody is going to build an apartment building next to the balcony later, because that happened where we live now. We used to have a pretty good view out of our living room window, but then like 3 apartment buildings were built right next to where we live. And now all we can see is apartment buildings. So even though the 2-bedroom did have a better view, I'm wondering if that's going to change later. Maybe that view will go away later. Also, I feel bad making the kids share a room. So part of me wants to pick the 3-bedroom so that everyone can have their own rooms. And the 3-bedroom also had a lot more storage. But then part of me wants to pick the 2-bedroom because of how much sunlight was coming into the kitchen and also the view from the balcony. But let me know which one you liked and let me know why you liked that apartment. Okay, so I think that's it. I'm gonna go try to decide what apartment we should move into. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.